Hi everybody, my name is Alex. I am the horticulture curator at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, and we are currently standing in the greenhouse where we do most of our plant production for the plant sale that happens annually. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an overview of how we're going to run our plant sale this year, and then just a little bit of background on the horticulture department here at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo. So let's get started. We are a small team here at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, and we take care of all of the grounds. So all of the plants that you see at the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo are taken care of and planted by the horticulture department. And we're a little bit in charge of making the backdrop at the zoo for all of the animals and making sure that the animals feel at home with all of the plantings that we take care of. This year, because we have our virus going on, we're doing things a little bit differently with the plant sale. So traditionally, we have our plant sale every Memorial Day, and that happens in the parking lot where you'll come and you'll shop in person with all of these beautiful plants that we're growing. But because of the virus this year, and because of the fact that we've been working on so much production for the plant sale, we've decided that we're going to do an online curbside pickup plant sale. That way you all get to enjoy the beautiful plants that we've been growing here in the greenhouse. So what that means is online, we've got all of our plants, the entire inventory that we'll be selling, and you'll be able to scroll through and pick through all of the plants that we've been growing, and then purchase them online. And once you purchase them, then you can pick a pickup date for grabbing your plants from the zoo so that you can go home and social distance and plant your garden still. We are also doing it a little bit early this year. So instead of our traditional Memorial Day weekend, we're going to be doing this during Mother's Day weekend. That way you guys can all treat your mothers to beautiful flowers to plant in the garden. A lot of the plants that we've planted here in the greenhouse have been very selectively picked to do the best in your yard. So we have lots of xeric plants, lots of native plants, and lots of plants that pollinators absolutely love, as well as choices that are deer and rabbit resistant, since we live with our friends in the forest as well. So pretty much any plant that you would pick here in the greenhouse is going to be drought tolerant and very tough for our harsh Colorado climate. Some of my favorites that we have in the greenhouse are the native plants, especially columbines like we have over here. And these are beautiful spring to summer blooming alpine plants that just do amazing in partial shade here in Colorado. And this is a variety that I love. It's called McCanna's Giant, and it's known for its very large blooms, and they're multicolored columbines. So off of one plant, you'll get to see yellow, pink, red, and then the beautiful purple classic columbine that you see in the mountains when you're hiking in the backcountry. We also have more of your traditional garden varieties, like the clematis over here that are currently blooming and looking beautiful. This is one of my favorite vines that we'll be selling at the plant sale because of the purple flowers. I absolutely love the rich color. And they just do fantastic here in Colorado. These plants will climb up a wall, they'll climb up a trellis, even a fence, and they will give you these beautiful purple flowers pretty much for the entirety of the summer. So it's a really fun plant to have in your garden. I've also picked another favorite, and this is a hybrid plant that comes from a native plant that grows in the mountains, and this is a perennial geranium. And these are so fun because they bloom at least 4 weeks, sometimes up to 6 weeks in your garden. So they bloom for a really long time. They're super versatile because they can live in full sun or in dappled shade. And they're very xeric, and the rabbits don't eat them. And that's one of the toughest issues that we have gardening in Colorado are the rabbits. So anything rabbit resistant is a great choice, but this especially is so beautiful with the purple flowers. We also picked Tradescanthia or spiderwort, another lovely native plant, and this one is a hybrid again, so it's a little bit of a fancier looking spiderwort than the natives, but it's got beautiful grassy foliage with these awesome purple flowers. And this plant is super happy. We're already growing out of the bottom of the pot. So a strong, bolsterous root system for any of the perennials is what you're looking for. And that's what you'll get with the plant sale here, because we have been working super diligent to make sure that all of the plants that you buy are super healthy and will be very strong and resilient in your garden. We've also picked some culinary herbs. We don't have a lot of them this year, but we grow lavender. And lavender is one of my favorites because it's very deer resistant and very rabbit resistant because of its color. Or I'm sorry, because of its smell. So here you can kind of see the process that goes into planting. So we get these plants in these little pots here from the nurseries that we purchase from. And then from there, we take the plant and we up pot it into a larger size. And from this size, you'll get a really nice plant that you can plant in the garden. And these guys are gonna grow up to 30 inches, so they'll be a really nice size with this beautiful kind of silvery green foliage. And they're very xeric because they're a Mediterranean plant. So in the summertime, you don't have to water these guys near as much as some of your other plants like the clematis that I showed you before. So yeah, we start with something small and then go bigger. And some of them we even have in a 1 gallon. So any of the pots that we have down here on the ground are 1 gallon pots, which is kind of your standard nursery size pot. And then we also have up to a 2 gallon pot. So we have a really nice variety of sizes to pick from when you're purchasing your plants. We have mostly perennials here in the greenhouse, but we also pick shrubs, and shrubs are perennial, but they're a woody perennial. And my favorite out of all of the shrubs that we're growing right now are these guys here in the back, the really tall ones. And those are called butterfly bush or buddleia. And they have beautiful purplish red flowers, and they pretty much bloom all summer long for you. They're fragrant, the butterflies love them, bees love them, and it's another choice that the deer and the rabbits won't eat. So it's a really tough plant, and those guys will get huge. You'll see those between 6 and 8 feet in your garden. So they're really beautiful and showy, and they also give you excellent structure all winter after the plants have gone dormant. We've picked lots of salvias, lots of fragrant plants because I love to have smells in the garden. And then we've also picked things that do really well in shade because not everybody has the luxury here in Colorado to grow in full sun. So right over here we have some ferns that do fantastic. They like a little bit more moisture because they are a shady plant, but they are excellent when you want to have a fern that's deer resistant. That is called an ostrich fern, and the ostrich fern will grow between 3 and 5 feet in your garden. So it really makes kind of a punch in your shadier areas where you're looking for structure. And I also quite like the ferns in the garden because we don't really get to see ferns very much in Colorado. So anything that can mix your garden up a little bit, give you lovely fine textures and colors, I love to put in the garden, and that is definitely one of them. So most everything that we've grown in here comes from the nursery, like I said, but we also grow many plants from seed. And the benefit of growing from seed is that we get a really big size plant, and we can kind of control when they're going to bloom for you guys. So almost everything here in the garden in another 2 to 3 weeks is going to begin to throw the buds up. And then by the time the plant sale is happening, hopefully you guys will get to have beautiful flowers on your plants as well as a nice root system. So I'm very excited for all of the choices that we get to have for the plant sale this year. One other thing that I like to grow quite a bit of here in Colorado are butterfly weed or Asclepias, and we have quite a bit of those. And I bought a lot of those plants to sell at the plant sale this year because our monarch butterfly population is waning and getting much smaller than it did in the past. So if we can put the host plants in the garden like the milkweed, then we can kind of guarantee that the butterflies that pass through Colorado will be able to have both a food source and a nectar source, so they can continue to bolster their populations that are dwindling in the wild. Now that we've had a little tour of some of my favorite plants that will be available for the plant sale, you can go to cmzoo.org/plant sale and begin to look at the plants that we have for sale and get your orders in. The sooner the better. So take a look at our website so you can see all of our wonderful selections and get those plants ordered for pickup on Mother's Day weekend. You'll have until the 3rd of May to pick your plants out and also pick your pickup date. So those pickup dates will be from the 7th through the 10th of May. And again, ordering ends on the 3rd of May. So get over to the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo website and take a look at all the beautiful plants that we have for sale.